7-0 win. Tonight, the Nats give rookie Tanner Roark his first crack at starting in the big leagues after 4 wins in relief. The Nats and Marlins on a Saturday night in South Florida.
Washington Nationals baseball. Washington Nationals baseball.
Nats will try it again tonight at Marlins Park here just outside downtown Miami. Some Nats fans with curly W's hoping for that big W tonight. And if they have to dance to get it, they will do it. So will we, for that matter. Bob and FB, welcome inside the ballpark. Roof closed, hot day outside. Tanner Roark started 96 games in the minor leagues in his career, and tonight he becomes the 10th Nat starter this year.
Yeah, only 8 starters for the Nationals last year in their 98-win campaign. So Tanner Roark, his first major league start tonight, the horseshoe, taking them out for the Nationals. And when you talk about 9 relief appearances for Tanner Roark, he had 4 wins in those 9 appearances. So his fastball, curveball, slider, change. When he's down the zone, he's as good as anybody. The shot in the arm, maybe, that the Nats need. Every time he takes them out, he makes something happen. A lot like Jonathan Solano when he gets a chance. Tanner Roark the same when he takes the mound.
He had a very good athlete. He was a quarterback, All-State in high school. He's shown he can hit at the major league level, and it's not often when a guy comes to the major leagues and starts collecting W's so quickly.
No, and you talk about an opportunity, Carp. I mean, with the 5th starter job maybe available for next year, middle relievers don't get paid a lot of money. You get into a starting rotation at the major league level. This is a great opportunity for Tanner Roark and his career.
It's been a very unusual year for his teammate Drew Storen. Once a closer, now a setup guy. Even made a visit to the minor leagues this year. Had a chance this afternoon to sit down and talk to Drew about a couple of things. He's always glib. He's always honest. We think you'll enjoy him next. Welcome back to Miami. Game 2 of this weekend series. The Nats trying to get things going in the win column again against the Marlins. And I don't know, maybe the guy who's the most professional broadcaster on the entire ball club is with us, Drew Storen. Got a little bit of that in your background.
Try to, just try to, adapt and learn from Dad a little bit, and it's paid off a little bit, I think.
Hey, Dad's pretty good. I've heard his work. Hey, you're pretty good too now, and I know this has been an interesting season for you. Going back to the events of last October, the off season, and then into the season. It looks to us like you're simplifying things now on the mound, where maybe before you were trying to do too much. Is that a fair assessment?
Absolutely, yeah. You go out and maybe I was trying to throw a little too hard. Maybe I was trying to make it break a little too much, and that's just kind of part of the competitive drive, I think, of kind of dealing with the adversity and wanting to come back even better. You can, especially in this game, trying harder is not always trying better. So for me to kind of simplify things and go back to just attacking hitters and let my defense take care of me has really helped.
And I think all of us, and I'm talking about broadcasters, fans, sometimes we're guilty of not realizing how quickly you made it to the major leagues. I mean, your control numbers were so great in the minors. You got to the big leagues so quickly. I'm sure you're still learning stuff every time out.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think, there's a learning curve, too, when you've been through the league multiple times and you're seeing guys for, the fifth or sixth time. It becomes a little bit more of a chess match. And I'm not surprising anybody anymore. And so you got to execute a little bit better. And, that's part of it, too. And it's tough to learn at this level. But, you get through it. That's what makes you better.
That's a school of hard knocks right there, learning at this level. Now, you got sent back to the minor leagues for a while. No player wants that to happen. But it seems to me like you worked that to your advantage. What did you pick up down in Syracuse? What did it mean to you to come back? Did you kind of look around and say, hey, this big league thing's pretty important to me, and I'm glad to be back?
Yeah, no doubt. It's one of those things that you kind of get put in that situation, and you really – it does you no good to sit around and feel sorry for yourself. And it was a good opportunity for me to get back to being me. And that's kind of the main thing. I wanted to get back to having fun, pitching out there and getting guys out. So, I really worked on just getting back to what made me successful, and that's being athletic and really getting, throwing the ball with a good downhill plane. And, it worked out, and I was really excited to get back. It's fun to get that call back to the big leagues. Obviously it's a completely different feeling, but it was a good sense of accomplishment just to know that I had worked through everything and to get back here to contribute with these guys.
Was it a little bit strange being the major league guy coming back? Because I'm sure when you were a minor leaguer, you had some guys coming back, and suddenly that guy was you.
Yeah, it was a little different. It was funny because I felt like it was kind of a rehab stint for me, and doing that last year, it's kind of how I was throwing on a schedule, so I kind of felt very similar with that. But at the same time, it is different, and it's pretty amazing how much you can kind of take some of this stuff for granted. And then you go back, as great as Syracuse is, the bus rides just aren't exactly the same as the flights.
And you knew a lot of people were pulling for you, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt. The amount of support I've gotten since day one of being here has been incredible, and the fans and everybody with the team, it's been really special and really kind of been a silver lining of the whole thing.
All right, well, we'll see you in the booth someday, but pitch for about the next 15 years or so, will you?
Sounds good.
All right, that's Drew Storen back in the big leagues, enjoying every moment of it. Back in the lineup tonight, the guy with the 17-game hitting streak, Denard Span, feeling pretty good for Game 2. Lineups, pitchers, defense, it's all straight ahead. Baseball on Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you. And by Kia. Visit Kia.com to learn why. Kia is one of the fastest growing car brands in America. Been kind of a cloudy, somewhat rainy day in South Florida. Sun came out late in the afternoon. but we are in air-conditioned comfort inside. In fact, I bet you could get a big old Trane unit and cool this whole place. Trane celebrates its 100th anniversary by offering irresistible financing. It's hard to stop a Trane, really hard. So 86 degrees outside, 74 inside Marlins Park. We're going to be a little delayed in giving you the Nats lineup because about 2 minutes ago we were told Bryce Harper is out and a whole bunch of spots have been changed. So here's the new lineup, brought to you by Mazda. We believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. So Harper out of the number 3 spot. Tyler Moore goes in at number 7, and then about 5 guys got bumped up straight ahead in the lineup. So we're going to be doing some serious innovating up here, and we will give you the news on Bryce Harper and why that move was made as soon as official word is available to us, FP.
Yeah, can you leave that up there for a minute? I'm redoing my scorebook.
Yeah, we got the whiteout out, the erasers, you name it, and hitting the delete button and all that. So the Marlins are on the field, and we do know that Denard Span and Ryan Zimmerman are the first 2 batters, and here's Nathan Eovaldi. He's made 2 career starts against the Nats, both of them this year, one right before the break and one recently. 1-1 with a 3.75 ERA.
Yeah, snapped a 5-game losing streak on September 1st at Atlanta. Pitched 8 shutout innings, gave up only 7 hits, struck out 6, walked 2 through 103 pitches, 73 of those for strikes. So big fastball, averages 96 miles an hour. Slider, curve, change to go with it. Secondary pitches are the key, but his fastball can reach triple digits.
And he's one of those good young arms. They got him in the Hanley Ramirez deal from the Dodgers. 10-year veteran Lance Barksdale has the plate. Gary Cedarstrom, the crew chief at first, Angel Hernandez and Kerwin Danley around the bases. First pitch of the ball game is right on the outside corner, and we're underway just a little bit late at 7:11 Eastern time. And Denard riding that 17-game hitting streak. He's been aggressive early in the count. He's been on the attack. And he fouls that one off and quickly 0-2 here to start the ball game. So during the streak, the active long streak in baseball, 28 hits and a batting average of .406 over that time. He is 1 for 5 career against Eovaldi, and that breaking ball is up and away.
Well, the best thing about having a Bob Carpenter scorebook is it corrects itself. So when there's a last-minute lineup change, you just look down and it's already done its work, and the new lineup just appears magically.
But the free one doesn't do that. 1-2 to Span. Fastball. Base hit. 18 games on the hitting streak. And the amazing second half of Denard Span continues. And you might even call this, FP, the second half of the second half. It's been amazing the way he's finishing.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is a career-changing approach for Denard Span, being aggressive early in the count. I would find it hard to believe that Denard's ever going to go back to seeing a lot of pitches, getting deep into counts, because the success he's had recently been pretty obvious. And there goes a no-hitter early tonight.
A little earlier than last night, about 5 innings earlier. The other thing about Denard, he has stepped up the running game a bit as well. And that's a fastball to the outside corner to Ryan Zimmerman. Oh for last night, 1 for 6 career against Nathan Eovaldi, and a batting mark of .275. Pretty good rip. Ryan, over that time, last 20 ball games, collecting lots of hits, batting .313. Power numbers down a bit, and I wouldn't be surprised if we find out toward the end of the season that Ryan's been battling his way through some issues this year. I mean, some of the throws and, of course, the driving of the baseball. We know that he drives the ball about as well as anybody in this league when he's 100% healthy. And that ball upstairs. Loves the fastball, obviously. And really, those numbers against other kinds of pitching, respectable. Breaking ball outside.
Hey, Eovaldi pretty quick to the plate. 1-2-6 right there, break time from Nathan. And generally speaking, you know, 1-4, 1-5 from the time you pick up your front foot to the time the ball hits the catcher's glove is a reasonable times to steal second base. But Eovaldi pretty quick to the plate, and he has a good move to first.
And Denard on base more lately, has stepped up his running game. Couple of steals on this trip.
You see the quick feet from Eovaldi. That's what makes a good move. Obviously, you want your throwing stroke to be a little bit shorter, meaning not a long arm delivery like you do when you throw to the plate. That helps too.
Zimmerman just able to get a tap on that one. Has always done lots of damage against Florida and now Miami pitching. And a 1-2 instead over to first, and Span just got back.
And tomorrow morning at the outset of the broadcast, we're going to go over break times, catcher's times to second base, good base runners times from first to second base. Break it all down for you because we have this fancy telestrator here and we want to use it. It's my new toy over here to my right. Caught him in a lean, almost got him.
Today when Denard is on first base, things can get close.
We've talked about it before that when Denard goes back, it's more of how he dives back versus being delayed with the response.
Zimmerman rams one to the gap in left center, and this ball is out of here. Or is it? No, it's a double.
It looked like it hit a flamingo in the leg.
Yeah, they're acting like it's a double. Ryan Zimmerman says I hit a home run, and I'm sure Davies coming out.
I think it hit the top of the wall.
And FP, there's no yellow line out there except just to the right of where that ball hit, so it's almost impossible for us to tell. So the umpires are going to huddle, and unless they're absolutely sure it's a double, I would expect them to go in and have a look at this. This is one of the ballparks, maybe the only one in baseball, where that ball isn't so far out of here it's a no-doubter, and they're going in.
Well, let's take a look. I thought it hit the top of the fence, skipped off the top of the fence, and took out a flamingo. Let's see. Yeah, that's a home run. Let me highlight that for you. Hold on.
Yeah.
Check it out.
That's
new
gonna
fancy smancy toy.
Yeah, hit the top of the wall.
It's kind of cool, huh?
And then it's going to short hop that second wall. I mean, the design of that out there is so bad. I'm sure you're going to see some disputes over the years in that part of the ballpark. So the umpires have gone out, and I wouldn't expect them to be out that long.
That's 2-0 Nats. Zimmerman's looking at the guys in the outfield saying, hey, you guys know it was gone. Let's go. Just fess up. Tell the umpires. Let's be on with the game. Got a hanging slider. I said secondary pitches from Eovaldi were going to be the key tonight. And the first one right there, hanging slider, cement mixer. Zimmerman catches it right out in front. And I don't think it hit a flamingo. Might have got a little bit of that first rip curl right there. But nonetheless, Ryan giving the home run sign saying, what are we looking at? Maybe we should highlight it for the umps. They got our feed down there, Carp? What do you think?
Well, we're the only TV feed tonight. Marlins are not televising locally here.
Here they come. And Jerry says
home run. So just as we note that Ryan hasn't been driving the ball that much lately, he just takes one way out of here, and the Nats have a 2 spot early. And I mean, that ball was absolutely crushed. That's his 18th of the year. RBI total up to 66.
The only bad thing about that is they didn't make Ryan come back to home plate and redo the whole thing over again like Michael Morris in St. Louis last year. Check out Davey Johnson. Said, I know. I'm 70. I saw it from here, and you guys can't see it from there.
So 20th career home run against the Marlins. Ryan Zimmerman more against them than anybody. And here's Jason Worth. who's 0 for 5 career, but a couple of RBIs against Nathan Eovaldi, who just gave up his 6th home run of the year. Span base hit, Zimmerman home run. Worth's hit 21. And that's well outside. Breaking ball low. Well, when they score first, Davy Johnson's ball club is a dominant ball club. 25 over.
And when they score second,
they usually don't come back.
Not so much.
Let's foul outside third.
You know, we were looking at those numbers before the game. The record with 3 runs or more, 50-something games over 500. The record when Davy Johnson's club scores first, you just saw. But I think the story of the season is in the other numbers, to where when they don't score first, you would think a team would be right around 500 not scoring first. Just 20 wins this year when the opponent scores first. And then the stat when they score 3 runs or less. I think those two are the story of this season more than the stats that show the success.
And Worth will hit this one a ton out to left center. Where's it coming down? Off the very top of the wall beyond the 418 mark. And that's a ball that's a home run anywhere in baseball except right here. I mean, he almost made it stick in that corner back there.
I cannot believe that that ball did not get out of here. Even in this spacious ballpark, you're thinking this is a no-doubter. You can stand at home plate and watch it because you can't hit a ball any better than this. So you look at the wall in left center field. It says 418. I'm talking to Giancarlo Stanton before the game today. They measure it at the base of the wall. So it's 418 at the bottom of that fence. Who knows what it is at the top of the fence? So Jason Worth just hit a ball about 430 feet for a double.
Well, this ballpark can be very unfair. We talked about it last night. Marlins going to have to develop their hitters unless someday they really want to overpay somebody to come here as a free agent. They're doing fine with the young pitchers, although Eovaldi's off to a bad start here. Adam LaRoche will take one low. LaRoche is 3 for 6 career with 2 RBIs against him. Ian Desmond is next. And LaRoche will tee off and hit one to deep left center. Well, Worth knows one thing, it's staying in the ballpark so he can tag. And he's over to third base on the first out. I mean, this is a driving range so far.
Yeah, good call. Put another token in the machine, get some more golf balls because the ball's jumping right now. If the Nats bats, let's check out the defense for the Marlins. Yelich, Ruggiano, Stanton the outfield, Echeverria, Coughlin left side, Solano Morrison right side, and Jeff Mathis behind the plate.
In Desmond, RBI opportunity to make it 3-0 here. He's had great success against Eovaldi with an RBI, and he's 3 for 6. Pretty good scramble by Jeff Mathis to keep it close.
Well, check out the dimensions of this ballpark. And it's to the base of the fence. And we were talking about Logan Morrison's home run last night, 484 feet. To about 10 rows in the upper deck. And we didn't know why that 465 was right there, and where those people are basically was 484.
There's Desmond with a shot, and Logan Morrison, a spectacular dive to his right. Only a left-handed, right-gloved first baseman makes a play like that. What a reaction.
Well, even the outs have been hard here in the first inning. Adam LaRoche with a good at-bat to deep left center field. Now Ian Desmond with a bullet that Logan Morrison makes a fantastic play on. Selling out, diving, saving a run.
Well, this is the second time this year the Nats have had a big first inning against Eovaldi in this ballpark. Friday, July 12th, they scored 3 in the first. Problem is, that's all they scored. Marlins came back to win that game, beating Steven Strasburg, who struggled 8-3. So Eovaldi out of the gate a couple of times, struggling big time against the Nats.
Yeah, he settled down nicely in that game at Nats Park. Found his slider.
That's a fastball to the inside corner. Ended up pitching 6. 3 runs on just 3 hits. Pitched around 4 walks and struck out 5. Wilson Ramos is 1 for 4 career against him. And that's a fastball that didn't miss by much.
Well, a lot of ball clubs would think about breaking up a guy like Jose Fernandez and Nathan Eovaldi just because the fact they're both hard throwers, they're both right-handed, they both have very similar stuff. You know, obviously Jose Fernandez fastball a lot bigger than Eovaldi's. It was 99 the first inning. His secondary pitch is better than Eovaldi's, but anytime as a hitter you get to face 2 guys that are similar back-to-back nights, it gives you the advantage.
Ball popped up a mile high right side. Trying to come back to Logan Morrison, but he just has no way to reach it.
I mean, you throw a lefty thumber in between these 2 guys. Now, maybe Eovaldi's a little more effective on the 3rd day, but you know, those guys back to back, it's a very similar look for a hitter. Now, this guy's got plus stuff. I think he's going to make a great reliever someday, maybe a big-time closer. Not that he can't be a frontline starter, but can you imagine that arm in the back of a bullpen?
Nats have forced him to throw a lot of pitches here. Next one will be number 27. He's really struggling in this ballpark. And that'll be popped up by Ramos into short right center. Giancarlo Stanton the call. So the Nats got the call from the umpires, and they got it right on the Zimmerman homer. Worth should have had one, hit a ball farther than that, but it was a double. So the Nats with a deuce in the top of the first on a Saturday night in Miami. I mean, in this ballpark, you've got to go deep. 18th of the year. And the Nats on top 2-0 for Tanner Roark facing this Marlins lineup with Chris Coghlan up at the top. And then Christian Yelich gets the start in left field this evening. Now, last night he played center field. He was on base a couple of times with a hit, a walk, and a fielder's choice RBI ground ball. Young player. Marlins taking a good hard look at him. He can play the outfield or the infield. And here's Tanner Roark, who has faced the Marlins twice in relief this year in 3 innings. No runs on just 1 base hit.
And last time out was Saturday, an 11-3 loss against the Mets. Went 3 1/3, allowed 1 run on 3 hits, struck out 5, walked 3. So 2-seam fastball, 90 to 94. Slider, pretty good curveball, change to go with it. So 4-pitch guy really gets on top of the baseball, out in front, and pounds the lower half of the strike zone.
11 starts at Syracuse this year. He made 26 at the AAA level last season, pitched 148 innings. So the Marlins, who must feel like they've been in the field forever, finally get up to bat. And that's a fastball low and outside to Chris Coghlan, hitting .274. Challenge him with a fastball. You can do that here, and that's Tyler Moore in left. And again, we'll tell you why Bryce Harper got scratched moments before first pitch as soon as we find out.
That's at the defense for the Nationals tonight. Moore, Span, Worth your outfield. Desmond Zimmerman left side of the infield. Rondon LaRoche right side of the infield. And the Iron Man behind the plate, Wilson Ramos once again.
Here's Donovan Solano coming up next. So Moore for Harper in left. And Jonathan's kid brother hitting .252. Walking a base hit, 1 for 4 last night. Talked to Steve McCatty before the game, and he said he really didn't have any pitch count or innings expectations for Tanner Roark tonight. He said he's been there, he's done this. It's all those things you're asking about, Steve said to me, up to him. How long he goes, they'll turn him loose. That's a bouncer left side. Zimmerman jumps and throws and on target. Enough so LaRoche could grab it. And Solano gets down the line well.
How about that play? The jump throw from Ryan Zimmerman going to the line. He got an in-between hop right there. Donovan Solano thinking maybe he had a double, but watch the backhand play by Ryan Zimmerman. The in-between hop down low does the Derek Jeter jump throw on a hop to Adam LaRoche at first base. What a play by the Nationals third baseman. Doesn't get any better than that.
2 outs. Roark against Yelich. And that's in there.
I mean, momentum going away from the play in foul territory. Doesn't really see where he's throwing it. Just based on a lot of practice, and he does practice that play every day in batting practice. He'll end with about 2 or 3 of those. Comes in handy here tonight in the first.
Well, he's driven in 2 runs and maybe took one away there. Yelich the hitter, 0-2. And Roark goes up and in with a fastball to the 21-year-old outfielder from Thousand Oaks, California. 23rd overall player taken for the Marlins in the draft 3 years ago. That's a good fastball right down the middle, and Yelich frozen. Good inning by Roark. His guys give him a lead. He goes out and gets them right back into the dugout. Part of this the second inning, presented by Luna. Call this weekend for the Luna Double. Get your second room of flooring free at 877-241-LUNA. 74 degrees inside Marlins Park tonight. Tyler Moore for Bryce Harper. He'll lead off. We talk about this a lot. who knows what will happen, but a lot of time guys who get in the lineup at the very last minute end up doing some damage. And that's inside. We've been told that we may not know what Bryce Harper's problem is, the injury that got him scratched, until after the game. So if you don't hear us talking about it, we don't know about it. As soon as we know something, if we do during the game, we'll let you know. Tyler hitting .214, 30 hits on the year in 54 games. I think the key for him is doing some damage early in the count, because when he falls behind, man, they go to work with him on nasty breaking balls. So right now he still has a hitter's count at 2-1, 27 pitches, 17 strikes. Eovaldi, first inning. On a pitch up and in, Tyler couldn't get to it. 94, counts even. Anthony Rendon in the number 8 spot, and then Tanner Roark. And there's a pitch, 96 downstairs. Tyler couldn't get to it. Suddenly, Eovaldi retires 4 in a row. Mercedes-Benz will track it.
Well, you know, the cupboard is not bare here in South Florida. When you talk about Jose Fernandez last night, the big arm of Eovaldi here tonight, Giancarlo Stanton, Echeverria at short. A lot of good young players. Been impressed with Yelich. I think you got to find a way maybe to sprinkle some veteran influence in here, but there's some good young stars in the making here for the Marlins.
Yeah, we've heard great things, even though I think we've only seen him for one game. That young outfielder, Jake Marisnick. Good guy with some power and speed.
And quite honestly, it's a very easy team to like. They all play the game the right way. They're all young and hungry and trying to make it at the highest level. And you know, Mike Redmond's done a really nice job of teaching these guys how to approach the game the right way on a daily basis, to where, you know, you watch every single one of them. They all run the ball out hard. They break up double plays. They're looking to take the extra base. They play good, fundamentally sound baseball with young mistakes, but that's going to happen when you have a very young group.
1-2 pitch and a breaking ball stays up and in. Well, and as many close games as they play, because not only is their offense last in all of baseball, but they pitch well enough. The combined scores of the Marlins and their opponents also the lowest in baseball. So those things they do can make a difference here and there in a one-run game.
And if you're thinking, wow, that's really a tough job for your first managerial gig to have a team like this, I mean, the fun aspect is you get to teach every day. I mean, you get to teach guys how to play at the highest level. If you're a young manager and you have a veteran club, say like Mike Matheny when he started in St. Louis, there's not a whole lot of instruction going on. You just basically run the ship, try to keep people happy, get a good lineup out there. Obviously, you got to run the game.
Rendon right side, ball trying to sneak through. Solano airmails it. Catcher backs up perfectly, and it's a base hit all the way for Anthony Rendon.
A pretty good effort by Solano right here going into short right field. Good hustle by Rendon to beat it. A patented Anthony Rendon swing going the other way, and for some reason Solano playing him more to pull, especially against that big Eovaldi fastball. But nice play, good effort by Solano, and Rendon aboard with a single.
Yeah, and young catchers take note.
Yeah, it's good hustle, good backup.
Follow the runner down the line, you save your team a base. Here's Tanner. That ball gets away off the shin guards, it appeared, of Mathis. And Rendon will get that extra 90 feet now.
Let's take a look at the replay. I wonder if Mathis was just assuming that this ball was going to put in play and kind of took his eye off it, thinking that Roark was going to bunt it.
It's got to be a pass ball.
Yeah.
Roark as a hitter, 2 for 3 with an RBI as a big leaguer. Takes a big hack.
Well, I mean, he can swing the bat. We understand the aggressive nature up by 2 runs, but Anthony Rendon at third base with 2 outs is not the worst play in the world when you have maybe an infield single on deck and Denard Span.
Swinging a tap or foul.
I usually don't bunt a guy to third with 1 out, but when you have Denard Span with all the infield singles he's had this year.
Yeah. Well, there's some folks from Wilmington, Illinois in the house. And that was segueing into my next point. Some of you viewers who maybe haven't been with us for some of Tanner's relief appearances, we called him Rourke. So did the entire organization. Shortly after he got to the big leagues, he told us Grandma back in Wilmington says the family name is Roark. So call him Roark. And believe me, we're listening to Grandma. And that's 2 outs.
Yeah, Lorraine knows what she's talking about.
So the top of the second inning. And Julie, you got to see a bunch of them at Wrigley Field, and how'd they find their way to Florida?
I did. Well, Wilmington travels well, and the contingent here is originally from Wilmington, but they currently live in Sarasota, Florida, which is about 3 hours away. They said they were happy to make the drive, knowing that Tanner Roark was going to get his first major league start here with the Nats tonight. So they came out and they said there could possibly be an appearance by Mom or Dad. So that could happen. Toby, Jody might come down. You never know.
Well, somebody just texted them and told them they're on TV.
Well, I'll tell you what, the group from Sarasota, way more calm than the group from Chicago that was in the bleachers for the Cubs.
Yeah, that Wilmington crowd at Wrigley was out of control.
They were awesome.
They were just going crazy out there. So here's Span with Rendon, who has good speed in scoring position. Christian Yelich may be a little shallow on the offside. The way Denard's been getting base hits over there. He's going to go that way again, but this will be an easy catch. Rendon, a one-out hit, went to second on a pass ball. The Nats have stranded a couple, but they lead by 2 early in Miami. Strikes in a 1-2-3 first inning. Stanton, Ruggiano, and Morrison for the Marlins bottom of the second. So since the 7th of August, guys who pitched at least 20 innings, and there are some starters on this list, but Tanner Roark right in there with some very interesting names around baseball.
Yeah, he was up for National League Pitcher of the Month, National League Rookie Pitcher of the Month. And Jose Fernandez won that award for the second month of the season. Crazy numbers.
Yeah.
And that guy has no fun at all on the right, I'll tell you what. A very enthusiastic, exuberant young man, and hard not to like him.
If you missed it this afternoon, the Reds scored in the bottom of the 10th and beat the Dodgers 4-3. So right now the Nats somewhat diminishing wild card hopes, 8.5 games back. What a notice, Stanton, and a check swing on a pitch up, and that just froze him in the batter's box. Tanner Roark gets an easy out. He's actually retired Stanton 2 of the 3 times they faced each other with a walk. What does he throw?
Yeah, fastball 60% of the time to Seaman. Run it in. You just saw that. Slider, curve, change to go with it. Curveball 12-6. We discussed that last night. More of a straight down curveball. If you're the hitter looking out to him, that's the way it breaks.
We'll bring in the center fielder, Justin Ruggiano, who's 0 for 2 against him. Caggiano, we know about his power. Batting under 220. Last year, he hit 13 homers in 91 games, but he hit 313. Big swing, straight back, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Interesting guy. In the minor leagues for more than 9 years, at the age of 31 now, playing on a semi-regular basis for the Marlins, and that's a breaking ball, low and away. Previous big league time in 07, 14 at bats, 08, 36 with Tampa Bay, and then he got 105 with the Rays 2 years ago. And some heat upstairs. Tanner Roark's second strikeout. He's set down 5 in a row. Nissan will track it.
Well, just reading swings, even though the velocity isn't 97, 98, the swings that the Marlins are taking at the Roark fastball would indicate that it's got some late life. Hitters late. And 93 miles an hour is every bit of 93 when it gets into the glove. Throwing it through the target, not to the target. A lot of late life.
Brings in Logan Morrison, who's had a bit of a power outage this year, but that was not evident from one swing last night. Later had another hit, a single up the middle. He gets jammed on that one. It's over the third base dugout. I mean, this thing so far out to deep right center.
484 feet, the third longest home run in Marlins history. And that is a big league tater. Halfway up the upper deck.
So one section to the left of where the sign at the back up on top says 465. I mean, what a blast. This time it's a little pop-up and Zimmerman handles it. 6 in a row to start the game for Tanner Roark. Zimmerman, Worth, and LaRoche ahead, top 3.
From Cox, Contour reshapes TV completely around you, recommending more of what you like to watch. 2-0 Nats, and it's been all about Ryan Zimmerman so far in this game. Got a slider that hung a little bit up and out over the plate. Hit it off that thing out there in left center field. Umpires went in, reviewed it, saw what we saw, said 2-0 Nats. And then how about this play? Very similar to the play against the Mets, where Murphy scored from second base, and after the game Ryan said, I'll make that play and throw it every time. Made the play tonight. Only difference, there wasn't a runner on second base.
So here's Zimmerman leading off, top of the third, and this one heading for right center, deep in the gap, and it is gone. Gap to gap power by Zimmerman. 3-0 Nats. And he's one home run short of 20 suddenly.
Well, this is starting to shape up like that night he had at Camden Yards where he hit 3. 19th home run of the year. So you go pull side homer. You know you've taken the slider away as a hitter. You've eliminated that pitch. He's not going to go there. So what do? You sit on a heater second time up, simplify the at-bat, go the other way. Takes a strong man to go oppo in this ballpark, 395 feet away. 2 for 2 taters for Ryan Zimmerman.
Here's Worth and a breaking ball up to him.
When you're watching the breaking stuff from Eovaldi, it's not breaking. So as a hitter, you eliminate it. You see any rotation, you're taking it, and you're sitting dead red.
And Worth did make a commitment there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jason hit a ball a mile first time up to the left of the 418 mark, high off that wall, probably about 15 feet off the ground where the ball hit the wall and stayed in. There's a fastball to the outside corner, 1-2. Tanner Roark, 19 pitches in 2 innings. Eovaldi way beyond that. And he's given up 5 hits to the first 11 batters.
Boy, Ryan Zimmerman gets in the zone. Look out. He has those nights where the game just moves so slow.
And a tapper by Worth up the middle, trying to leg it out. Solano will mishandle it, and we'll see how they score it.
Well, you would think home cooking if you're in your own ballpark. That's a base hit. On the road might be a little more difficult. Let's see how they rule it.
Solano's made 7 errors at second base this year.
I think they ruled it a hit. I mean, when you're trying to win a batting title, you take them any way you can. That would have been a tough play, right? Jason Worth getting it down the line, probably throw it underhand. I'm sure if you ask Solano, he'll tell you he should have made the play, but second hit of the night for Worth.
125th hit of the year for Jason. Started the night at 318. He's at 321 now. Adam LaRoche flied to center pretty deep. First time up, that moved Worth over to third with 1 out. The Nats were robbed of a run on a Desmond drive speared by Morrison at first base. And Adam will look at that one low, 2-0. So in this game now, the Nats are 7, actually make it 6 for 12. Upstairs, ball 3. Eovaldi had given up 5 home runs in his first 85 innings this year. On a pitch, it might have been a little inside. Adam was pumping, trying to hit one pull side.
I'll tell you what, this season has been such a roller coaster for the Nationals and Nats fans. I mean, one night you're talking about maybe a perfect game and a no-hitter. Obviously, Jose Fernandez was fantastic last night, as good as we've seen this year. And the next night they're hitting the ball out of the ballpark to all different places. And Davey Johnson's club has multiple personality disorder. I mean, one night they look like they could sweep a World Series in 4 games, and then the next night you have a guy like Fernandez that totally shuts you down. And that's been the plight of Nats fans this year. Is one game you think, okay, here you go, this is the ball club you were expecting, and just hasn't been the consistency that anybody in the first base dugout probably would have imagined at the beginning of the season.
What, 3 5-game winning streaks all year? Win a couple, lose a couple, win 1, lose 2, win 3, lose 2. It's just been so back and forth. And here you are after 140 games, 2 games over 500. Worth maybe designs on running, 3-2 count, nobody out. Mathis, by the way, has been good for the Marlins, 35% caught stealing. So getting some help from some young pitchers. Worth holding. LaRoche, right center. Worth can read that, easily go to third. Giancarlo Stanton over to cut it off, and Adam LaRoche suddenly has a 5-game hitting streak. First and third, nobody out.
And LaRoche's leg still barking as he goes back to first base. Nice at bat right there, sticking with it in pain, throw a knockout there, and nice pre-pitch preparation by Jason Worth, meaning you're looking at the outfielder, knowing where they're playing, Giancarlo Stanton giving some respect to Adam LaRoche because of the pop. Jason Worth seeing that and knowing that Stanton was playing deep, easily advances with nobody out, first to third. It's good baseball. Always look over your shoulder. Find where the outfield's playing every single pitch. For you young players at home, it's something you do every pitch because guys will shift their position based on count. So you're always looking out there. Once you get your sign from the third base coach, make it a habit. Look at the outfield, see where everybody's playing, so you know before a ball drops that it's going to drop. You don't have to wait around. And after you do it for a while, it just becomes habit. You really don't have to think about it anymore. It's just part of your routine.
Adam started gathering some hits in Philadelphia after an 0 for 18. And now over 5 games, 5 hits and 3 walks. Ian Desmond killed the ball first time up, and Logan Morrison robbed him of a ball that might have gotten down into the corner. He has 34 doubles and 56 extra base hits. Sitting on 69 RBIs is Ian Desmond. Team leader, and suddenly Zimmerman just 2 behind him. Worth has 66. Target in. Desmond up the middle, speared by the pitcher. They got Worth trapped between third and home. He's going to try to get into a rundown so that LaRoche can get to third, which he will. In fact, Jason Worth gives the Nats a better base running situation. Even though there's 1 out, they went from first and third to second and third.
Well, he gets some high fives when he gets back to the dugout. I mean, that's a right read right there. You got to stay out of the double play. So you break down the line, and then all of a sudden you got a good old-fashioned pickle with Jason Worth. And did you see when he hit the deck? Right when he looked over his shoulder and saw that LaRoche had advanced and Desmond had advanced, and his job was done. We'll go back to it. You have to go right here, stay out of the double play with nobody out, right? Eovaldi looking. All right, here's the pickle. Gives it up. And watch Worth. Watch his eyes. He's not only staying in the rundown on purpose, he's also cognizant of where the base runners are. So right there he looks, sees his job is done, hits the deck. It's good baseball.
Yeah, 1-5-2 on the out. But Desmond goes all the way to second.
That's stuff, Bob, that you just can't teach. That's instinct. His base running skills are off the chart.
Ramos could bust this thing open now. Nats by 3. Take that one outside. Wilson flied to right field first time. He's 1 for 5 career against Nathan Eovaldi. On a 2-0, he'll take a breaking ball outside. Nationals all over the bases here in the first 3 innings. 7 hits already out of the first 14 batters. Ramos was swinging on 3-0.
That's one of those things where Eovaldi has an open base. He struck out Tyler Moore on 3 fastballs last time up, and he's being real careful here with Wilson Ramos. 3-0 green light. Ramos might have chased ball 4.
Kinetic North America on the pitch track. A lot of room, left field line, left center. That ball shot down the line and right, flirting with the foul pole, and it is a fair ball off the wall. LaRoche has scored. Desmond follows him home, and the Nats lead 5-0. RBI total up to 40 for Wilson Ramos.
Well, you know, half of that's Jason Worth's base running right there, letting those 2 guys get into scoring position. The other half is maybe with a base open. I don't think Eovaldi wanted that pitch right there. He wanted off the plate away. If Ramos chases, he chases, and you go after Tyler Moore. But he left it right down the middle. Ramos with the inside-out power stroke scores both runners.
8 hits in the first 15 batters now. And here's Tyler Moore, who struck out first time.
And because of the bad wheel, excuse me, Bob, Ramos with only a single.
Sure. Hey, that's okay. You make the score 5-0, you can take it easy. You can kind of look out there and see how the outfield was playing, how they're going to pitch him. And for Moore, it's the same thing. Everything swung around to the right by the Miami defense. And Eovaldi possibly not long for the game. There is activity in that right field bullpen. And it's only the top of the third.
It's a pretty good pitch.
Tough to get a call when you're struggling, isn't it?
Well, when you're not around the plate, yeah. Umpires get into a rhythm with you if you're pounding the zone. They're looking for strikes.
And that ball shot to right. Stanton over to grab it for the second out. Everybody taking healthy hacks here. Anthony Rendon will step in at the stroke of 8 p.m. So in the first 50 minutes of this game, the Nats doing everything right. Tanner Roark getting outs. Ryan Zimmerman's made a great defensive play. He's hit 2 home runs for 3 runs, and Wilson Ramos has driven in 2. Rendon opposite field single, first time up. And Eovaldi with a fastball right in there. That's Sam Dyson. That ball hit into the corner hard. Ramos heading for third. Long way to go for Yelich, and Trent Jewett will hold Wilson Ramos at third base. On a double by Rendon, who's 2 for 2. And don't forget, there's a pretty good hacking pitcher coming up.
But do you see how this is working? You get a base hit to right your first time up. You look middle in second time up. You're eliminating location. You're eliminating pitches by having successful at-bats your first time up. We saw it with Ryan Zimmerman, who got a slider out over the plate. Pull side home run. Look for a fastball away. Got it. Anthony Rendon got a base hit to right field on a fastball. Gets a hanging off-speed pitch right there. Catches it out front and pulls it. Second time up.
Here's Roark. Boy, was that thing hanging inside corner. Ball 1. 8th Nat to bat here in the third. And a 2-hopper to Echeverria, the shortstop. But the Nats will have another nice inning. Ryan Zimmerman, left center first time. Right center this time. And then Ramos would drive in 2 more. And after 2.5, it's a 5 spot for Washington. And the Nats in this one so far. AFCEA, the Association for Global Security Professionals, has our sideline report. Here's Julie.
Hey guys, well, yesterday Tanner Roark sat here in the dugout for the game. Quite a different vantage point for him, as he's usually out in the bullpen. And he wasn't just sitting there. I mean, I'm sitting right here basically in the dugout with these guys. And he was talking to everybody, kind of picking guys' brains, going up, discussing certain things that were going on in the field. And first base coach Tony Tarasco was telling me they had a little conversation, FP, something you had just made mention of last inning, which is to always make a habit of looking at the outfield. Tarasco was saying, basically explaining why certain outfielders play certain places according to certain situations. Outfielders play according to hitters' tendency and strength, and often the center fielder will have the best view of the pitcher and can read them inning to inning and possibly call an audible on their position based on how the pitcher is commanding his pitches. He said he was very impressed with the way Tanner Roark was picking guys' brains and wasn't just sitting there entertained throughout the game, but that he's rather a student of the game and was trying to pick up as much as possible.
Well, he's a smart guy, right? I mean, figuring things out, working on his off day, and that's part of it. And Bob, you just asked me an interesting question during the break. You said, do pitchers chart on their off days? And
Been gone a while, huh?
It has.
You know, it just kind of dawned on me. We haven't seen that in a number of years, but down through the years, the guy who was starting the next night would always chart that night's pitches for the pitching staff, the coach, and for everybody to know what he was throwing and what the result was.
Yeah, you have a clipboard in the dugout for those of you who don't know, and you'd sit there and mark down every pitch in every location. You'd watch what hitters were doing versus those pitches, and then you'd hand it in and use it as your own, I guess, information for your start that day. But now with so much video and computer stuff, I think that's taken care of for you nowadays.
Visit nationals.com/2014. Some restrictions apply. I've already checked that out. And the longer commitment you make to being a National season plan holder, the greater the rewards. It's in there, a fastball to Jeff Mathis, the 196 hitting catcher. Only 3 guys in the lineup tonight have faced Roark before: Stanton, Ruggiano, and Echeverria. And he's retired all 3. Well, Eovaldi done for the night. That's Rob Brantley, one of their catchers. They're carrying 3 catchers like a lot of teams do. That's trouble into the corner, but it's hooking, and it goes to the left of the foul pole for a loud strike. Jeff Mathis just a hair on the bat away from his 6th home run of the year.
Well, he's one of those guys. Those guys you put in the Nat Killer category that don't have the greatest numbers, but every time they play the Nationals, they find a way to get it done. And that time he had distance, but let's watch it hook. Right in front of the pole. Foul.
Close. Ball 2.
I mean, if his last name was Murphy, he'd really have something going. That was a pretty good pitch right there by Tanner Roark.
Mercedes-Benz on that last pitch track, and now he goes 3-2 ahead of the probable pinch hitter, Rob Brantley. I noticed we're going up to the house Murphy built on Monday night to face the Mets for 4 days.
One of the various.
Daniel Murphy, who seems like he's doing an Irish jig on the bases every time he faces the Nats. It's been crazy.
Donnie Murphy with the Cubs, Daniel Murphy with the Mets. Anybody named Murphy, automatic Nats killer.
Well, he tosses the bat away and he can go pick it up. That's strike 3. Lance Barksdale giving Tanner Roark the call on a 3-2 pitch.
Man, see the sequence, everything kind of all over the place. In, out, up, down. And when he has to make a pitch in a 3-2 count, he does. Mathis thought it was ball 4. Strike 3.
K's for kids from Toyota. 3 more for Tanner Roark to start the game. $37 for everyone to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health, thanks to our D.C. area Toyota dealers. 24-year-old catcher Rob Brantley, who hit .290 here in 31 games last year, is the pinch hitter. Roark goes to work on him. Got a strike, got a fly ball, and he's got a Worth out there. 9 straight to start the game for Tanner. What else are you going to do for us this year? Roark. Pitches, 21 strikes in 3 up and down innings. Visit Kia.com. Learn why Kia is one of the fastest growing car brands in America. So career in this ballpark. Denard Span's already added 1 hit onto his resume tonight. Under .370. Ryan Zimmerman, 5 home runs, hitting almost .300. And Jason Worth, big time damage as well. First inning, third inning, Zimmerman homers tonight.
Yeah, 2 Tater night and counting for Ryan Zimmerman. And when he gets in these zones, look out. First time up, slider out front, hit it into that thing in left center field. He thought it was a home run. Umpires looked at it, saw the replay, saw the awesome spotlight from our telestrator, knew it was a home run, and then next time up goes opposite field Tater on a fastball away. So Ryan Zimmerman in the midst of a huge night.
Do we need to get Santa Claus in here so you can sit on his lap and ask for that thing for next year?
Yes.
That is such a cool tool.
It is.
All right. Top of the 4th. This is Sam Dyson. Nats have just seen him a little bit in relief this year. Span has faced him. So has Zimmerman. And so has Worth. And 2 of those guys have hits. Denard now hitting .414 during his hitting streak. 29 for 71. Looks it all the way in. Strike 1 from Dyson. 26-year-old right-hander. Florida guy from Tampa. He was a waiver claim for the Marlins from Toronto January 30th. It's only his 2nd professional year. Had Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. Jesuit High School in Tampa. Went on to the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, 2-pitch guy, fastball, changeup. Fastball averages 92, changeup 84.
Span will look it all the way in again, 2-1. So his batting average now, because of this 18-game hitting streak, up to .279. His on-base percentage is over the .330 mark now. And he'll pull that off-speed pitch. He was way out ahead. Zimmerman having a big night. Time given. A little late. Sam Dyson, by the way, was originally drafted by the Nats out of high school and didn't sign. Span will pull it to the right side. Logan Morrison will feed it to Dyson. One out. Well, Wednesday, May 29th, Ryan Zimmerman first 3 times up. First inning, 4th inning, 5th inning. Home runs against the Orioles.
It was one of 32 home runs hitting that game on May 29th.
Seemed like it.
But he was in the zone first 3 times that night. Cheapy in the bench. Very warm night. Ball was carrying. And hit him to all fields. So he is in the midst of one of those nights here at Marlins Park.
All 3 of those against Chris Tillman. The Nats had a huge lead, and Jordan Zimmerman couldn't hold it. They had a 6-run 7th inning, and that was the bummer at the end of the night. So that night, Zimmerman hit numbers 4, 5, and 6 for 4 RBIs.
I think Chris Davis had like 17 home runs that night, didn't he?
He was ridiculous.
Oh, he had 2. Close.
0-1 to Ryan.
Markakis had a home run. Pierce had a home run.
Yeah, the Nats had just split 2 with the Orioles in D.C.
Shark had a home run for the Nats, and Zimmerman had 3. That was one of them slug 'em fests. Slow pitch softball game broke out.
And a breaking ball hit straight back. So Sam Dyson was drafted by the Nats in 06. Oakland in 09 didn't sign. And then finally Toronto 4th round. Tommy John surgery, 1 year with the Blue Jays organization. They made him available on the waiver wire, and the Marlins grabbed him. So Ryan now, over his last 21 games, 6 home runs and 11 RBIs. Worth is next, and he's 2 for 2. He's had several of those multi-homer games against this club. The ball's going to jam him, and he stays alive.
Got extended last time on the fastball up and away, and you can see what Dyson's doing right here, just running that 2-seamer in on Zimmerman. And not to let him get extended.
Breaking ball, low and in. Nissan will track it.
Man, just a backup slider, maybe. Fangraphs has him as a 2-pitch guy, fastball changeup, but that looked like a slider.
And somehow Zimmerman extended enough to get the end of the bat on that. Tough to get the ball by him suddenly. Ryan's 1-for-1 career against Dyson. Pitch number 8 coming. Playing all the right-handers the other way here. And on an off-speed pitch, there's a pop-up to the shortstop, Echeverria.
That was closer than you'd think to home run number 3. Maybe just a little bit too high, got under it a little bit. But it's the same short, compact, quick swing. Couldn't get on top, got a little bit deep on him, and you see the bat flip. He knows that he just missed. Hitting another one hard and hitting another one far.
Here's Worth, who's 1 for 1 against Dyson. And that one comes diving down and in, catches the corner. And him reaching, and there's a pop-up. Echeverria has to go out for this one. Yelich right behind him. Shortstop will take it. And a 1-2-3. The Nats go in order for the first time on this Saturday night.
It is time for some Geico highlights. Let's go back to the second inning, and Tanner Roark against the heart of the Marlins order right there. Strike 3 on Yelich. Looking. Giancarlo Stanton with a check swing back to Roark. And then a strikeout right there to Justin Ruggiano.
33 pitches, 21 strikes in 3 innings. 3 strikeouts, the ground balls, a couple of flies. And here's Coghlan, who flied to left. First time up. First pitch changeup. Little different look second time around. Ball gets in on his hands, and the count 0-2. And he'll throw another off-speed pitch on the 0-2 count.
Just been aggressive in the strike zone, right? Whether it's the fastball, the curveball, slider, change. He's working out front, getting ahead of hitters.
And he goes fastball up and extremely late with the swing, Coghlan.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. You're reading the swings of Marlins hitters, and they're consistently late on the Roark fastball. Even though 2-strike count and Coghlan probably in protect mode right here, but just another tardy swing on a Roark fastball.
Then he goes with the breaking pitch that stays outside, 2-2.
And that could just be simply A, late life, meaning it's got some jump at the end, or B, that he's got him off balance because he's throwing all 4 pitches for strikes.
Drills that one, and it's drilled right back from where it came. And Chris Coghlan gets the Marlins' first base hit.
Well, based on last night what happened, I was thinking it, and I know you were. And we weren't talking about it, but the first hit of the night for the Marlins, the first base runner of the night for the Marlins. So there goes the no-hitter, and there goes the perfect game. And Tanner Roark has been spectacular. First hit of the night.
Yeah, this is where you give him a nice hand and now tell him to go out and get a bunch of guys out. Donovan Solano takes a fastball for a strike. He was robbed on that remarkable play by Ryan Zimmerman back in the first.
Might be the first time I've said it for the visiting team, by the way, or the other team.
As long as it's more than an hour after we go on the air, you're allowed.
Visiting team. Where am I right now?
They're the other guys. I don't know. I can see where you got confused.
Yeah.
I mean, you went to college here.
Yeah.
You were jumping up and down because your Hurricanes beat the Gators today.
Big day for the program, absolutely. A lot of fans here we were talking to earlier went to the football game. Now they're here at the baseball game. Doubleheader working. But yes, a big day for the U. Don't think that I didn't let Christina Acra, who went to Florida, know all about it today.
That ball out to center, but Span doesn't have to go far to his left to grab it. First out, bottom of the fourth. Montgomery Gentry closes out the Nats Live 3 postgame concert series after the Saturday, September 21st game against the Marlins 2 weeks from tonight. It's a 7:05 game. Some of the tickets start as low as $10. So go to nationals.com/Nats Live. Free postgame concert. You must have a valid game ticket that says September 21st. Over the last couple of years now, one of the best ways to see big name music entertainment is to go to a baseball game. Here's Yelich. Good changeup.
Those two guys, so in case you didn't know, Eddie Montgomery, Troy Gentry, both natives of Kentucky. Great country group. I look forward to them topping the last 2 or 3 that have been there, because the concert series this year has been fantastic.
I wonder if Tyler Clippard knows those guys. He's from Lexington. Family, most of his family from Indiana, but Kentucky for him.
Well, I know Tyler was a big Gavin DeGraw fan. That was his guy.
That's a base hit for Christian Yelich. Werthel charged to stop Coughlin at second base. And the Marlins trying to put some hits together. And they put Giancarlo Stanton in a position to get them back in the game. Good looking young hitter Christian Yelich, who will be up over 290 after that base hit.
I love how Adam LaRoche always hangs around just a little bit longer after there's a conference at the mound to get the last word in. And when you're a veteran guy and a presence that everybody listens to, why not? Every time there's a conference at the mound, it's ready break and everybody goes back to their position. Adam LaRoche hangs around just a click longer to get in the final word.
Here's Stanton handcuffed on a fastball up and in first time. And a little bouncer right back at Roark, who goes breaking ball this time. And he's behind. I don't know who those pitchers were who got him 0 for 12. Have to find out what they were doing. That's right off the end of the bat. Good turn to Desmond will, and LaRoche will pick it. Great. Second time tonight. Stanton's had a hard time getting out of the box against Roark.
Great feed by Rendon. He got rid of that lightning quick, and that was the difference in the double play. Watch how quick Rendon gets rid of this to Ian Desmond. I don't even think it went in his glove. I think he barehanded that and made a perfect feed. inning double play one more time. This ball didn't really go in Anthony Rendon's glove. Great pitcher by Roark. Down and away with the slider. Gets the chase from Stanton. Didn't get out of the box, but watch where it hits Rendon. Kind of in the heel. Never really went into his glove. And we'll show you on the last shot right here what I'm talking about. Watch this, and we're going to highlight it right there. And you see how it's just kind of on his heel. Or do you like this one right here? Or we can go with maybe this one right here. Either way, you get the point. Ball never really went into his glove. Barehanded it, feed it to second base, right to Ian Desmond for the perfect 4-6-3 double play.
Circle me, FP, on a 4-6-3 double play, says Anthony Rendon.
I had about 3 more circles left, by the way. We just had to get to the pitch.
Never have geometry and baseball combined so beautifully. Top of the 5th inning, here's Adam LaRoche, 1 for 2. Pulled a base hit last time. And suddenly LaRoche has a 5-game hitting streak. Not a lot of hits, but he's drawn 3 walks along with the 5 hits. Playing him to pull, but not a dramatic shift that we saw from the Phillies and some other ball clubs this year. Two-two pitch. It's a little bit outside. Good eye by LaRoche, who has walked 58 times this year. Ian Desmond 0 for 2, but he's hit the ball hard a couple of times. Waiting. And that's inside. Oh, no, it's not. LaRoche thought it was. And he just got punched out by Lance Barksdale. This will be an interesting to look at on the Kinetic North America pitch track.
Pretty close.
Yeah, came back.
Probably, if you ask Adam, too close to take with 2 strikes.
Good swing back action by Sam Dyson. There's Desmond, lined out hard to Morrison. And then that bouncing ball fielder's choice where Worth got in the hot box between 3rd and home and enabled runners to move up to 2nd and 3rd. Breaking ball. He lines out again. Echeverria this time. A moment in history brought to you by Volkswagen. The best thing ever event going on. Visit VWDealer.com. Back in '84, Doc Gooden struck out Ron Cey. 228 strikeout. That's a National League rookie record, was at that time. He would go on to strike out nearly 50 more. 1984. Kind of interesting question. What 2 teams battled for the National League pennant in the LCS that year?
The Astros? No. Starting the Aflac trivia thing all over again?
Well, it's just kind of an interesting pairing. It was the Cubs and the Padres. And then, of course, the Padres won it and then had to go play those unbelievable Detroit Tigers of that year. And I know you remember them being the Michigan guy. I mean, they were unbelievable. They'd start off 35-5 and crushed everybody in their sights.
Yeah, being a Michigan guy, you might think they were up 9-0 right now against Notre Dame.
Sneaking a little football in here. Wow. Big Blue against the Golden Domers. We do it all here on MASN, ladies and gentlemen. Going to the bottom of the 5th inning. Nats by 5, Wolverines by 9. But we've got the Curly W.
Who passed on Wednesday at age 78, Frank Pulley, one of the best umpires in the history of the game. And all the umpires are wearing the tribute patch on their left shoulder in honor of Frank. 4 World Series, 6 National League championships, 2 All-Star games. He umped in the National League from 72 to 99. Died on Wednesday in Palm Harbor, Florida. My rookie year, Carp, I went up to him. A guy that's been in the big league since 1972, very well-respected umpire. We all loved Frank very much. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I was playing third base in Wrigley Field, and I ran up to him and I said, "Hey, FP." And he said, "You're the only one in the major leagues that can call me FP." So we're going to miss you, Frank. Great umpire and a great man.
You know, and ironically, he made big news at the other ballpark in this town. And I happened to be doing the game. It was on Memorial Day, and I'm thinking it was about 10 or 12 years ago. The Cardinals were playing the Marlins. And there's a bouncing ball to the right side. Anthony Rendon will take it off the bat of Ruggiano. And I think Cliff Floyd hit a drive to left field. They had that funky scoreboard over there. You know, to the left of the board was a home run. Up against the board was a double. And he called it a home run. Tony La Russa came out and argued. Frank Pulley walked over to the first base camera bay and had him do a replay in the viewfinder for him, and he called it a double. I think he later got a bit of a reprimand from baseball for doing that. But Frank Pulley was the first umpire, and they reversed that call, and it stood to ever use replay in a regular season major league game.
It was in 1999, Marlins against the Cardinals.
Okay.
And Freddie Gonzalez was the interim manager. He argued. Pulley ran to the dugout, looked at the replay. So you're right, the first ever example of using instant replay in baseball. He said, "I sure don't want to make a habit of it, but at the moment I thought it was the proper thing to do." So kind of ties in with playing the Marlins here in South Florida. I guess that's where instant replay in baseball really got its legs.
Yeah, and it was kind of interesting because it was a regional telecast on ESPN, and it wasn't going to a big part of the country, but a guy named Dick Vitale was watching in Sarasota. And he called Rudy Martzke from USA Today, and the next day it was a major story, and they were, you know, getting opinions from announcers and baseball people all over the country. So Frank Pulley had a lot to do with at least the infancy of that, and got people thinking about replay. And the important thing was that day, Mr. Pulley got the call right. He was the crew chief.
He's also part of that Game 4 in the 1978 World Series. He made the call when Reggie Jackson kind of leaned into that double play ball against the Dodgers. It hit off his hip. And it's funny, as a young player, you know, you start to get to know these guys. And especially when it was National League and American League umpires back in the day before they were all mixed up together. You had one group that just umped National League games and one group that just umped American League games. And you got to know everything about these guys and became real close.
Wow, Tanner Roark, big breaking ball, best of the night. Lunging for that, unable to touch it, Logan Morrison. And Mercedes-Benz will strike out number 4.
See the whole sequence away, then he goes backdoor with the curveball right there at 77, and Morrison way out in front, tried to keep the hands back, couldn't.
Wow, so that Pulley game was 14 years ago. Danny Echeverria now, bases empty, 2 outs. And a chopper foul.
Now from 1972 to 1999.
So that was his last year?
It was.
Interesting. Tanner Roark delivers a high fastball in the zone to Echeverria. Who bounced out to Anthony Rendon, first time up. Goes with that breaking ball again, but buried it, and the count 1-2. Right-hander Chris Hatcher now working for the Marlins. They've gotten 6 in a row retired by Sam Dyson.
You remember when Jordan Zimmerman was absolutely locked in? I used to sit up here and say, normally I can think along with you. And he and Kurt Suzuki were on such a same page to where you just didn't know what was coming next. Same applies right now for Tanner Roark and Wilson Ramos.
Overpowered him with a fastball. LaRoche is over there. Adam under it and makes the grab right over the top of that gentleman's head. 3 straight in this inning. Tanner Roark, 5 2-hit shutout frames. A lot of action tonight. It's all good for the Nats. Tanner Roark, 57 pitches, 38 strikes. 4 strikeouts, couple of hits, and 5 scoreless innings. Tyler Moore, Anthony Rendon, and Tanner Roark, top of the 6th. And for the Marlins, Sam Dyson, who's done a nice job out there for his 3rd inning. He's retired 6 straight. Tyler Moore, seeing him for the first time, and that's under his hands. 1 ball, 1 strike. Fastball in there. Front door breaking ball, and Tyler Moore went over and got it. First base hit tonight. Tyler 1 for 3.
And he joins the hit parade.
Yes, he does.
He and Desmond, the only position players, I look quickly, without a base hit, but he's lined out hard twice, once to first and once to shortstop. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run. Now Tyler Moore jumps in with a single, 1 for 3.
Yeah, so 3 guys with multi-hit games for the Nats. Zimmerman, the 2 home runs. Worth a couple of knocks. Wilson Ramos goes that on RBIs in the 3rd. Huge. Took a 3-0 game, made it 5-0. Remember last time the Nats faced Nathan Eovaldi, they got 3 in the 1st here right before the All-Star break and lost that game. Anthony Rendon, opposite field base hit. Then he pulled a double. With the runner going, a perfect hit and run. Tyler Moore to 3rd. Second baseman went to cover. And Anthony Rendon tucked it in right behind him. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Rendon now 2 for 2 career against Dyson. 3 for 3 tonight.
Boy, what a great call by Trent Jewett right there. You're not thinking, hit and run with the 8th place hitter. Tyler Moore on first base doesn't run great. But when you have a guy that can handle the bat like Rendon and you got a strike throw on the mound, great call by Trent Jewett. Davey Johnson right there, up by 5. Not sitting on anything and pressing the issue. I like it.
Yeah, a luxury Davey hasn't had that many times this year, to be able to step on the throat in the middle of the game. So here's Roark, could be bunting to get Rendon to second. He's a good base runner. 1 for 2 tonight, strikeout, ground ball. Squares early, takes ball 1. Guy who's been in the minor leagues for 6.5 years, doing some really interesting things at the major league level with the Nats. Tanner Roark with the bat as well.
Well, 9 relief appearances. He won 4 games. That's where we get the horseshoe nickname for him. But he went from trying to show the Nationals that he belonged at the major league level to all of a sudden showing the Nationals that maybe he's a starter at the major league level with what he's done so far here tonight.
Takes a bit of a stab at that one and misses it. 1-1. And FP, it's not like he's been totally lucky picking up those wins out of the bullpen. His ERA 1.19 in those 9 relief appearances.
Well, no, but when you have 9 appearances and 4 wins, you have to be in there at the right time when your team's scoring runs for you. So there is a little bit of luck involved, but I see what you're saying. Don't take away from the performance, because the performance has been special.
And didn't look real comfortable on that one with the pitch coming inside 1-2. Not squaring this time, at least not yet. Now he will. And Tanner Roark didn't look real comfortable bunting there. Second K by Dyson. First out, top of the 6th. Don't forget about Saturdays and Sundays at Nationals Park. It's the all-inclusive Harris Teeter Family Fun Pack, starting at just $19. You get a ticket, hot dog, chips, and a drink for that starting price of $19. Available online only. Nationals.com/family. We'll have a chance to do that next weekend. 4 in New York. The Nats will be home with the Phillies next weekend, then the Braves for 3 and the Marlins for 4. Top of the order, Denard Span 1 for 3. Rendon's a good base runner. He's 1 for 2 at the big league level stealing.
Yeah, not a bad time to go right here either.
Force the issue. Started him at 85 with a changeup. Span missing at 0-1.
Oh, Trent Jewett calls a lot of the offense at third base. He'll get suggestions occasionally from Davey Johnson, but basically he's running it. And if you've noticed a pattern throughout the year, when somebody steals a base, he's sure that they have a really good chance to do it. And if he's going to put on a hit and run, he's sure that there's about 5 different things that are right, meaning you got a strike thrower, a guy that can handle the bat, a decent runner at first base. It's not like he just puts on signs to put on signs. There's a lot of thought process and study before the game that go into it. So when Davey Johnson and Trent Jewett do decide on something, they're thinking it's got about a 90-95% or even more chance of working. I've seen a lot of teams this year that just put on stuff to put on stuff. That's not been the case here.
0-1, Span out to left center, having to go get it. Yelich tagging, scoring easily. Tyler Moore. Nats lead 6-0 on a good AB by Denard Span, gathering his 39th RBI.
Denard Span just playing a good brand of baseball right now for the Nats, and everything he does, making stuff happen. Getting on base, being aggressive, driving in runs down. So minus the Roark strikeout, a very well manufactured 6th run of the night for the Nats.
Ryan Zimmerman has driven in 3 on a pair of home runs. A lot being made lately about Ryan not driving the ball that much. I brought it up right before he hit one a mile to knock it out of the park. But here's Zimmerman again on the doorstep of 20 home runs. Hit 25 last year. And every time the Nats hit a homer, and they've done that 136 times this year, it's $250 to the Children's National Medical Center from our Washington, D.C. Lexus dealers. Lexus, the pursuit of perfection. The count goes to a dangerous for Sam Dyson, 2-0. Pitch. He was jumping on it. Ground ball left side, Coghlan. Nats are gone, but they're getting an add-on run added to the total here in the 6th. RBI by Span. Nationals by 6. Middle of the 6th.
Distracted by the sea creature race going on as we speak. It's time for the Cholula hot sauce. The hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap, available in original flavor at 93 miles an hour. Chili lime at 93 miles an hour. And how about chili garlic or chipotle at 93 miles an hour? Tanner Roark getting her done.
On to the bottom of the 6th. It'll be Jeff Mathis, the catcher. Juan Pierre will hit for Dyson, who just gave up a run on 2 hits in 3 innings. And then the top of the order with Chris Coghlan. Mathis caught looking first time. And Roark goes up and in with a fastball. 58th pitch of the night. So he's averaging 11 pitches per inning, making his first major league start. And by the time that one got finished, Jeff Mathis was fighting that thing off right above his hands. Made an offer, then the ball dove on him. 83 off speed. Nice looking pitch. Throwing that while he was behind in the count. And he goes with a fastball and tries to catch the knees with it. Two base runners tonight. Hits in the 4th. One of them erased in a double play.
Roark done a nice job of just being aggressive, pound on the strike zone. 63 pitches to this point, 41 strikes, 22 balls. He's been making the fish put the ball in play by throwing strikes early.
Well, just throwing strikes and around late for that one. Mathis stays alive. Ground ball. Zimmerman over to cut it off. On the run. Nobody does it better. One out.
Pretty good play right there. You know, third baseman, you're supposed to cut in front of the shortstop because you have the momentum going toward first base. It's all it is a matter of communication with your shortstop or just the fact that you've played next to him for a long time. But you know, anytime a third baseman can field the ball in front of the shortstop, he has a shorter throw to first base, and that was a nice play by Ryan Zimmerman getting to that ball.
Juan Pierre 7 for 28 as a pinch hitter. He got one of those hits last night. Led off actually 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, singled up the middle. And that's going to skip into the glove of Tyler Moore.
Well, how about Juan Pierre? That's his 2,212th hit. Last night, he tied Willie McCovey on the all-time list at 177th. He just passed Willie McCovey right there and is 2 hits shy of some guy named Joe DiMaggio with 2,215 hits.
Isn't that something?
Wow.
Be in the company of those kind of names.
That is good stuff.
And anybody who had ever played with him told you, great teammate, hard worker. Been in the big leagues since 2000 with Colorado. Drafted him in the 13th round back in '98.
So he just tied.
I'm guessing that that's Joe Cool, K-U-H-E-L.
And that is the best name ever.
Could be Keel. We'll check on that.
Well, if it is, he should have changed it to Cool.
But, you know, you can say you're in the top 170 or so hitters of all time in numbers of hits.
That's awesome.
And then Placido Polanco's up in that neighborhood as well. There's an off-speed pitch. What a good changeup. Coughlin pops it up out there. Ian Desmond with amazing range. Then he looks in, and 2 guys are covering second base, the pitcher and the third baseman. 2 outs. Donovan Solano coming up, and the Fish box a little empty. Coughlin, leadoff hit in the 4th. A 1-out hit by Yelich, but he was erased on the Stanton 4-6-3. And then Juan Pierre in this inning, and that has been it.
It's kind of sad because there was nothing on the scoreboard here at Marlins Park to say what Juan Pierre just accomplished by passing Willie McCovey on the all-time hit list.
Yeah,
I mean,
that should be right.
In most cities, that's a standing ovation and a hat tip from the home crowd. Strange. It's not every day you pass Willie McCovey on the all-time hit list. But the Sea Creature race was good.
And the other flaw that I see here, and this is indicative of some of the new ballparks, I just think there should be an out-of-town scoreboard that every moment of the game has every score from both leagues visible, not one then the other or bouncing back and forth. I'm glad that at our ballpark we have the out-of-town scoreboard that has all the games up all the time. And there's the National League. American League will pop up at some point. I'm not sure what kind of time sequence they use, but I've talked to a lot of people over the years who really like to track games when they're at the ballpark. It's kind of an old school thing, but people like it. Rendon can't get to that one. Solano with a base hit and a shot at third, but throws off line, and that is not good base running by Donovan Solano when you're down by 6, 5, 4, 3, you name it. He's out at second base. Zimmerman, nicely done. Desmond the tag. Marlins bullpen as we go top of the 7th here. 6-0. Good offense tonight. A lot of hits early. In fact, 8 of them in the first 2 innings. And then there's Tanner Roark, who has set an amazing tempo here tonight. 71 pitches in 6 innings. I mean, the guy looks like he's been starting at the big league level for quite a while.
Yeah, the word that comes to mind with Tanner is fearless. I mean, every time he takes them out, no matter what situation it is, whether what role it is, where he's saving the bullpen in a rout or he's starting a major league game for the very first time, the guy has no fear. He's just going out there, pounding the strike zone, throwing strikes, getting ahead, mixing things up nicely to where as a hitter you can't think along with him.
Right.
On top of that, hitting spots, keeping the ball down, doing everything right.
And the offense, great to see it come alive. The craziness of this team offensively this year, and of course you have to tip your cap to Fernandez last night, but they came out bopping tonight and they've kept it going.
Yeah, early Eovaldi couldn't throw the off speed for strikes, so they were all over his fastball. Maybe not the big fastball that he had at Nats Park last time that was around 98, 99, tonight 94, 95, and taking advantage of a young guy throwing the ball over the heart of the plate. But Eovaldi's got a high upside, and he's going to be a very good major league pitcher as soon as he figures out that slider and curve.
Right in there from right-hander Chris Hatcher. Top of the 7th underway. And Jason Worth facing him for the 2nd time. Walked against him previously, and that's another strike with a fastball. Third appearance, couple of innings, 4 hits and 6 runs, 5 earned so far, and Worth will go down and get that one and foul it away. And having said some of the things about the ballpark that we did last inning, there is no doubt about the fact that this is such a fantastic place to play. Compared to the football stadium the Marlins and their fans had to suffer through for all those years. I just think there should be certain minimum standards that Major League Parks should have to meet, and that one of those would be every game displayed, the entire ball game, so you can always see what's going on around baseball. Enough said. But it's a wonderful, comfortable indoor environment here compared to the numerous rain delays. And then, of course, this time of the year, the Marlins were sharing the field with the Dolphins and the Hurricanes. And then the field got all chopped up and was really tough for baseball. So we're glad that they've got this place to call home. 1-2, and that one is drilled up the middle by Jason Worth. That's going to hit that quick turf and go all the way out to the 418 mark. And Worth is 3 for 4 tonight.
Jason Worth chasing a batting title. And his average goes from 321 to 322 with that hit so late in the season. It's hard to move that number. But he's moved it about 4 points tonight. I think he started at 318, now 322. And depending on what Andrew McCutchen did, I think that puts him in 3rd place.
Yeah, McCutchen, we're told, 2 for 2 tonight, so he's at 323. Pirates in that game trailing 3-0 at St. Louis in that crazy Central race. Well, the Cardinals could take first place tonight. Cincinnati already won this afternoon.
And when you think of Jason Worth, you think of a lot of things. Plus base runner, clutch player, plus outfielder, Gold Glove type right fielder. And as honest as I could be, batting title is not one that I thought we would ever be talking about. But he's just been so consistent with his approach this year. You know, even when he wasn't locked in, all the ground balls between short and third, the 5.5 hole, still collecting his hits, and now just standing tall, pounding down, creating tons of backspin on that baseball to where he is a legitimate contender as anybody in the National League to win a batting title.
1 ball, 1 strike to LaRoche, and that's blown away. Adam is 1 for 3 tonight. And against Hatcher, 0 for 1 with a fly ball. Chris Hatcher, 27-year-old right-hander. Parts of 3 years with the Marlins, 6'1", 205. He was a 5th rounder back in 06. Kinston High School in North Carolina. Went to the University of North Carolina, Wilmington, and he turns that one over well on the left-handed batter. Not a good night for Nathan Eovaldi, but you're still impressed whenever you face the Marlins with some of the arms they have in this organization. 2-2. Low.
Just kind of thinking on the fly here too. Do you remember when Jason first signed with the Nationals, how he would change his stance maybe once a game, to where one day he'd be spread out real wide and have his hands low. The next day he'd have his feet more underneath him, hands a little higher, to where he's just searching for that comfortable stance that he really never found that whole first year. And that might have been a microcosm of how he was feeling in a new uniform in a new city, not real comfortable. But I mean, we talk about his swing right now. Look how upright he is. The hands are kind of away from the body to where he's over the baseball and he's right down to it, to where there's not a real loop in his swing. So when he was spread out, the swing was much longer, meaning kind of casting his hands around the ball, and there was more of an uppercut. And now he's standing tall, and it's just more direct, to where you're actually creating backspin on the baseball, and it's able to carry.
Yeah, the contact over the last 2 months has been impressive, just consistently hitting the ball hard. The 3-2 pitch, and LaRoche will go deep to right. Stanton watching this one. It hits right off the 392, deflects to the right. Worth will score easily, and Adam LaRoche goes back-to-back with Worth on doubles. The Nats lead 7-0. Adam LaRoche 2 for 4 tonight, RBI number 58.
Boy, watching LaRoche's BP today, he was hitting with 2 hands on the bat, meaning he kept both hands through the swing in batting practice to try to facilitate that top hand to come through the strike zone. Every once in a while, he'll let go with that top hand a little bit soon. It weakens his swing. So the results tonight, the proof's in the pudding. A couple knocks, one off the wall right there for a double. But watch how he keeps his top hand on the bat a little longer than normal here. And the release is after contact. Sometimes it's right at contact, and that was what he worked on today in batting practice. And so far, so good.
Here's Ian Desmond. And he goes up and pops one up, not far from the girders. Echeverria there to grab it for the first out. Bring your group out to Nationals Park when the guys come home next Friday. It'll be a 10-game homestand to wrap up the season at home. Company outings, birthday parties, anniversaries, family reunions, you name it. You can have a great time. The bigger the group, the bigger the savings. Nationals.com/groups to check out all those opportunities. So Ian Desmond, a rare 0 for 4 tonight. Ramos the hitter, and he went right field wall in the corner for a 2-run single back in the third. Facing Chris Hatcher for the first time. That's 7 runs on 13 hits. Maybe selling some pizza tomorrow. That's a fastball that's outside. 1-1. Adam LaRoche's 18th double of the year. He has 39 extra base hits. Ramos will take a running fastball in there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Well, if this isn't a perfect example of what we were talking about earlier with multiple personality disorders in this ball club. Last night the score 7-0. Tonight the score 7-0.
Yeah. And a 1-2 that Ramos will reach and line and stay alive. Right side bouncing ball, Donovan Solano. And with 2 outs, over to third base goes Adam LaRoche. Tyler Moore coming up. We have an AT&T fact of the game for you. Zach Walters, third player to break up a no-hitter in the 6th inning or later in his major league debut. He was pinch hitting last night for Eric Davis when he just bounced that little 75 foot base hit up the third base line to break up the would-be no-no.
And by the time he's 12 or 15 years in the major leagues, he'll be telling all the rookies that it was a line drive double down the left field line.
That guy has some serious pop. We'll see it. We'll see it sometime this month. And a 1-0 taken by Tyler Moore, who singled last time. And he's 1 for 3 tonight.
Well, the interesting part of that is what would have Mike Redmond done had the no-hitter stayed intact with his ace Jose Fernandez out there. Apparently they're going to give Fernandez one more start, but I talked to a few of the Marlins staff today, and they were prepared to let Fernandez throw as many pitches as possible to get to the finish line if he had a no-no going.
Yeah, he had 94 through 7. Stanton's going to call Solano off that ball. The Nats will go in the 7th, but they add on another run. Worth and LaRoche back-to-back doubles, 7-0.
Yet to score, but the story of the night so far has been Tanner Roark. Besides Ryan Zimmerman, a couple of taters, Roark at his first major league start had a nice 2-run cushion to work with, and he took advantage. Aggressive in the strike zone with the fastball. Off speed was great. Kept the Marlins off balance. So 6 shutout innings, struck out 4 Marlin hitters. And got some help from his defense too, and just basically did what he does, kind of changed the vibe of the ball club, and he's done that so many times. And Carp, there's a pitcher I played with in San Francisco named Kurt Reeder.
Lefty.
And every time he took the mound, something good would happen for the ball club. He would find a way to beat you, find a way to win. I mean, he was so lucky that whether it was the NCAA pool in spring training or he'd go to a casino, he would always win. And there's just certain guys that are blessed with that ability to go out there and find a way to win, whether it's tangible or not. And I don't think it really is with Roark. I mean, he has good stuff, but when we say horseshoe, we say it with all due respect to a guy that reminds me a lot of one of the best pitchers I ever played with in Kurt Reeder, to where they're just kind of blessed and good things happen around them.
Yeah, I remember that lefty well, the pride of Nashville, Illinois, Kurt Reeder. Bottom 7, Ross Ohlendorf now for the Nats. And he pumps a fastball in there at 94. There's the big windup. And another fastball. 95 for Ohlendorf, making his 14th appearance. 5 starts, 3-0 with a 2.98 ERA. Christian Yelich 1 for 2. Roark started against the Marlins this year, and Yelich went 2 for 3 against him with a home run. It's a breaking ball. LaRoche, and it deflected past Rendon. That'll be a hit, and Yelich is 2 for 3.
A 7-0 game. Nice effort right here from Adam LaRoche, selling out, getting on his belly, getting dirty right here, trying to make a great play for Ross Ohlendorf. Didn't know that Rendon was behind him. So a leadoff knock for Yelich, his 2nd of the night here in the 7th.
And Rendon probably didn't know he could get to the ball. So they were both going at it. Leadoff man aboard, and that is just outside to Giancarlo Stanton. 2 for 9 career against Ross Ohlendorf.
Ohlendorf's fastball up there tonight out of the bullpen, coming in at 96.
Yeah, I think that little dead arm period he went through is over.
Might have got away with one right there just based on velocity alone. Stanton late. But that was right down the middle.
And a fastball up. Stanton unable to get there. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
The big windup's going all macho on Giancarlo Stanton right here. All fastballs.
Tanner Roark, by the way, 6 innings, 4 hits. Shutout ball, no walks, 4 strikeouts, 71 pitches, 47 strikes. Outstanding. And a 1-2 to Stanton in a 7-run game. Up and away. Ball game like this, Ross Ohlendorf might be out there for 2 or 3 innings. We'll see how it goes. Breaking ball. He didn't get it. Moore will be able to circle behind it and make the catch.
And just got in enough to where it was the swing you're used to when he goes deep, but didn't have the sound. And when you think about it, not a real easy play for an outfielder. When you have a big guy up there and he takes a swing like that, your first reaction is to go back. Because you're already kind of thinking in your mind, well, this guy hits a lot of taters, he's got pop, so you see that swing. Nice play by Tyler Moore, not getting fooled by it and running over and making the catch.
Here's Justin Ruggiano 0 for 2 with a strikeout and a ground ball. Good breaking ball by Ross Ohlendorf. Ruggiano 0 for 5 career against the Nats right-hander. Snaps off another one a little bit outside. Nationals could put them in a good position for the series, with Steven Strasburg going tomorrow against Jacob Turner. And there's the fastball. 97 from Ross Ohlendorf. I don't think we've seen this all year.
Yeah, 97. That's what he's topped out at. He hit that at Nats Park one time. But he's just letting her fly right now.
Target in. That means fastball, doesn't it? Up and in, right by him. 2 outs.
Well, when you talk about Tanner Roark having no fear, add Ross Ohlendorf to that list. I mean, the 2 guys that are pitching tonight for the Nats are the 2 real feel-good stories of the year when you talk about the ball club and the staff. I mean, Ross Ohlendorf with that fantastic second game of the doubleheader against the Mets where he let it all hang out for 114 pitches. That start he had in Colorado to where he did so well he stayed at the major league level. And Tanner Roark doing his thing out of the bullpen, and now as a starter here tonight, 2 really, really good feel-good stories around this ball club.
A strike to Logan Morrison, who's 2 for 8 against him. Morrison has fouled out to third and struck out swinging. Backdoor breaking ball 0-2. Year, get ahead of Logan Morrison. You've got a great chance to get him out. Infield playing to pull. That's a swing and a miss, and he takes off. He'll make it easily. So 2 on, 2 out after a strikeout.
A pretty good pitch right here down the dirt. Solano kind of turns his glove the wrong way. He thought he could catch it in the air. The ball hit the dirt, and once you have your glove turned down like that, you can't flip it over. Ball hit the dirt, and that was that.
Batter, Adeiny Hechavarria. So Ohlendorf ahead of Hechavarria, who has bounced out to second, fouled out to first.
Hechavarria, very aggressive hitter, good fastball hitter. You see the game plan, a couple of curveballs to start this at bat.
Fastball up, base hit. Tyler Moore will charge it, nothing he can do. Yelich will score as Tyler hits the cutoff man. And the Marlins are on the board after a strikeout for the 3rd out of the inning, but the batter made it to first. And for Hechavarria, his 35th RBI.
Well, you give any big league ball club a second chance, they usually take advantage, and that's exactly what Hechavarria did right there. Got a pitch out over the plate, drove it into left, and the Marlins are on the board.
Earned run because of the wild pitch on the strikeout. And Jeff Mathis, the batter. There's Greg Dobbs on deck as the Marlins get it down to the number 9 spot. They hope. Up the middle, well placed. Here comes another runner, and Morrison will score to make it 7-2.
That's a little 2-out lightning here from the Fish in the 7th inning, right back up the middle. Ohlendorf tried to flag it down. And Logan Morrison, who reached first base on a strikeout with 2 outs, scores the 2nd run for the Marlins.
Yeah, those add-on runs in the 6th and the 7th looking pretty important now.
A strikeout big in the sense that Davey Johnson was probably hoping to get maybe a 3-inning save.
Yeah,
Out of Ross Ohlendorf to where he could smell the finish line, keep that pitch count down, not have to get up anybody else in the bullpen. Although bullpens are expanded with the roster call-ups in September, so a lot of options for Steve McCatty and Davey Johnson, but double barrels right now. Drew Storm, Xavier Cedeno.
A lot of outs to get, yet 7 more in this game. There's a long visit. See Ryan Webb up and about to stretch and throw. Well, here's Greg Dobbs, good pinch hitter, one of the best in the league over the last 5 years or so. But he's 1 for 10 career against Ohlendorf. They've used all their left-handed batters here. They do have switch hitter Coy Hill, another catcher, but they've already used Rob Brantley. So pretty much all the left-handed bats have been used off the Miami bench. Dobbs will take that running fastball for a strike.
Yeah, 94, little swing back action after the 95 challenge fastball for strike 1.
Into dirt, and Solano actively smothering that.
Well, if if Jonathan Solano, Donovan, his brother, if Jonathan would have blocked maybe that first strikeout to Logan Morrison like this, he would have had plenty of time to throw him out at first base. So he got the glove the right way, got down and blocked that ball. And when you think about it, Carp, catchers don't have batting practice to work on their defense every day. They don't have a way to take ground balls like infielders or shag fly balls like outfielders. You know, Randy Norr will take them aside and work with them. They'll block balls on their own, but that's something you see a lot of catchers work on a daily basis because they really don't get any work in during batting practice except for hitting.
2-2 pitch. Dobbs broke his bat, popped it straight up, and Solano is there to grab it. But the Marlins make things interesting for a few moments by scoring a couple of runs. Now they've stranded 4.
9th inning. We're going to have a little more telestrator fun right here. I'm going to show you Jason Worth's swing this year, kind of show you the differences, what I was talking about, break it down so that you can understand. You see where his hands are. He's standing tall over the baseball. His swing this year, a lot more direct to the ball, kind of that route to where his hands are in the zone. He's firing them straight down. We'll hold there for a second, one more second. So last year when he was spread out, or maybe in 2011, the hands were kind of lower down here to where his swing is kind of this route, a little more loop to it. So this year, more direct, kind of down to the baseball like this. Last couple years, a little more loop in it. So let's roll it right now and show you the difference kind of in the approach and the two swings. Watch the hands fire straight down to the baseball. So that bat head is in the zone quickly. It stays in the zone for a long time. And in essence, by standing up tall, has taken the loop out of his swing, and he's more direct path to the ball.
Can't argue with the results. 3 for 4 tonight. Batting average over .320. Looks like Justin Ruggiano has moved over to right field. And there's Jake Marisnick. We've talked about him a little bit. And the Marlins like what they've got in him. This call to the bullpen packaged by the UPS store. We love logistics. And the Marlins will go with their 4th pitcher of the night, 26-year-old left-hander Zach Phillips. 10 games with the Orioles 2 years ago, just 6 last year. And the Marlins signed him as a minor league free agent last November. Anthony Rendon, Jonathan Solano next, and then the top of the order after the double switch that brought Solano in and placed him in the number 9 spot. And a ball hit hard but foul. By the way, Marisnick is in the game for Giancarlo Stanton. So Stanton is done for the night, 0 for 3, and Marisnick will bat 4th and play center field.
Phillips a 4-pitch guy, fastball, slider, curve, and a change to go with it. Fastball 89, slider in the upper 70s, changeup 80 miles an hour.
1-2 count, target in. Rendon jammed to the shortstop, Echeverria.
Well, let's go back to the other night. Last game in Philadelphia on Wednesday. One of the better defensive games we've seen the Nats have this year, just based on how big the plays were and when they were made. And Jonathan Solano, a guy that makes something happen every time he's in a ball game, with one of the more outstanding hustle plays you'll see all year. Worth a little chest bump right there with the baseball.
Yeah, that was great. That on the heels of the Lombardozzi Jordan Zimmerman play. Two of the most amazing outs you'll see in one ball game, especially back-to-back innings.
You just file that one under baseball instinct. You can't teach that.
With the bat, 7 hits in 38 appearances this year. That ball down the right side, and it stays in for Ruggiano, who grabs it. 2 outs. Top of the order, Denard Span next. MLB.TV. Celebrating 11 years. You can keep up with the pennant races. Catch the rest of the season with MLB.TV Premium and HD quality. It includes a free subscription to MLB at Bat, the #1 sports app of all time. Visit MLB.TV to order and find out more. Denard Span tonight, 1 for 3. Hitting streak at 18 ball games now, and a sac fly. He'll flip it the other way and line it foul. Fastball up, and he's late for it. Now the Clippard's been working in the Nats bullpen. Ross Ohlendorf had to throw 27 pitches to get through that 3-out sequence in the 7th because of the wild pitch. Clippard's not going to warm up unless he's coming into a ball game. He's kind of like a closer in that respect. And the Marlins will have the top of their order up in the 8th, so a good time for Davey to make that move, even though not a real hold or save situation. And the 0-2 to Span. He'll reach and tap it right side. Race to the bag. He's going to win it. Safe. Denard Span 2 for 4. As soon as the first baseman at P had to make a commitment, that was it.
It's time for your Kia Drive of the Game, brought to you by Kia. Visit Kia.com. Learn why Kia is one of the fastest growing car brands in America. How about 2 Zim bombs tonight? First one to left field off the Flamingo thingy. Second one to right field off of fan thingy. Wow. Ian Desmond taking the helmet off. A little Buffalo love for Wilson Ramos. And a 2-home run night for the Nationals' third baseman.
Mike Redmond not wanting this one to slip any further away. Wants a right-hander against Ryan Zimmerman. Masson, brought to you by Navy Federal Credit Union. 4 million members, 4 million stories. Navy Federal Credit Union. And by Outback Steakhouse. It's always fresh in the Outback. Amazing skyline right on the water in downtown Miami. Just a couple of miles to the west in Little Havana sits Marlins Park. And the Nats well ahead tonight. Archimedes Caminero trying to keep it where it is right now, 7-2, with Ryan Zimmerman coming up, who's never faced him. 26-year-old right-hander, rookie. We've seen his arm on display. When the Marlins came to D.C., this guy was in the minor leagues for 8+ years. Zimmerman, big night, 2 for 3. 2-run homer in the first, solo shot in the third. Oh, 95 right in there.
You know, throw that fastball at 95, slider at 81, occasional split at 89. In case you missed it, when the Marlins were at Nats Park, Archimedes, named after a Greek mathematician. His dad got his name out of an algebra book.
so unique. And here's a guy who's been battling for a long time just to get to the big leagues. Now trying to prove he should belong. And he's still only 26.
Yeah, middle name Euclid, who was the father of geometry, anybody knows. And Archimedes devised a formula to determine the volume of an irregular shaped object using water displacement. Who doesn't know that?
His nickname's not Einstein, is it? Zimmerman off the end of the bat and a pop-up to Solano. That'll do it for the Nats. In the top of the 8th, Tyler Clippard on the way. Top of the order for the Marlins. The Nats by 5. A game, a matinee to wrap up this series. Steven Strasburg coming off a nice outing at Philly, 6 innings, no earned runs on Monday. Looking for win number 7. Jacob Turner, 5-11 in 30 career starts. Another one of those young guns the Marlins have. We'll get you going at 12:30 with Nats Extra, and then first pitch just after 1 o'clock tomorrow. Nats hopefully holding on here tonight and then going for a series win in that rubber game tomorrow if things work out here. 6 outs yet to get. Become a season plan holder for next year now. You can receive bonus e-cash and multi-year price locks. These offers expire September 30th. Nationals.com/2014 to check it all out and learn more. Left field, Corey Brown for Tyler Moore as we move to the bottom of the 8th. And on the mound, Tyler Clippard. 64th game, great ERA. A little bit of a hiccup in Philadelphia the other night, but those this year have been few and very far between.
And fastball, curveball, occasional cut to the fastball and the changeup to go with it. And loves to pitch against the fish.
He knows where to challenge guys, huh?
We could really throw those numbers up against anybody, especially average-wise, but those are just exceptional.
First pitch from Clippard missing to Chris Coughlin, who's 0 for 7 career against Tyler with 3 strikeouts. There's the changeup. 79.
That one just floated in there. Anytime he gets it below 80, that's the one that even if you're sitting on, you really have no chance.
Little soft pop up, and Desmond easily over to cover that. For that always important first out of the inning.
Well, it gives you an idea of what Davey Johnson's thinking about this game, even with a 5-run lead, bringing in his A bullpen, Tyler Clippard. Be interesting to see if he goes to Soriano for the 9th. And getting back to that, you're in the losers bracket in a double elimination mentality to where you got to take every game like it's your last and win the day, and there's no really other option at this point.
Next up for the Marlins, Donovan Solano, 1 for 5 career against Clippard. Tyler Moore came in to play first base with Corey Brown replacing him in left field. Brown is batting 4th. And it looks like the pitcher's batting 6th, which is where the pitcher was originally. I'm going off the scoreboard here, but we may have to wait till the Nats come up in the top of the 9th.
So what do you think the conversation's like right now? You think they're talking to each other? Jonathan, Donovan?
Well, it was kind of fun the first time we were here this year. I had the opportunity to sit down in the Marlins dugout and interview both of them and ask them about each other. And it was a very cool experience. It's such a rare thing.
Yeah, but this is good stuff right here.
One hopper. My impression of those two is that Jonathan is easily the more gregarious of the two. He would be the one maybe first talking a little smack or just a little brotherly fun, in a situation like that.
Maybe down the road when they're a little more established, but right now as young players, I bet you they were really cognizant of the fact that all eyes were on them right there as they both were a couple of feet from each other as major leaguers. Pretty cool moment, actually.
Yeah. But Donovan he's more soft-spoken than his older brother. No doubt about that. Here's Yelich. And Tyler starts him off with a buckling breaking ball. I mean, when he gets that thing over, a hitter's going to go, now what do I do? Fastball away. Yelich against Clippard 0 for 1. And he's had a good night. Base hit to right. And then that hot shot that LaRoche deflected last time up. Now the scoreboard says Clippard's batting 4th. And it really doesn't matter. That's the hitter that would be up second in the ninth, and the Nats would hit for him anyway. So it should be Worth, a pinch hitter, and then Desmond in the top of the 9th. Looks like Corey Brown is batting 6th, where the pitcher was. Clipper with another breaking ball. Took a little bit off of that thing. And a 1-2-3 8th inning for Tyler. Gets this game into the 9th with Washington on top by 5. First 3 in the 5th. Zimmerman, couple of home runs. Ramos, 2 RBIs. It's been a good night for the ball club. Tanner Roark pitching nice. PNC Bank for the Achiever and you with our minor league report. Now Harrisburg defeated Erie 3-1 in the best of 5, so they are in great shape. But they advance to the championship round now. The Potomac Nationals, first game of their Mills Cup champion. And, of course, Salem, the Southern Division champ. And the Peanuts dropped game 1. Hagerstown, in their best of 3, is up 6-2 right now against the West Virginia Power. So things are looking pretty good. They hold on, they clinch. Here we go to the top of the 9th, and here's Jason Worth. Nice to have so many organization ball clubs to talk about in postseason play.
Harrisburg heads to Trenton on Tuesday for the Eastern League Championship, so good luck to those guys and everybody else.
Against the Trenton Thunder. Chad Tracy for Tyler Clippard in a moment.
I mean, if you're sitting at home thinking, well, it's the minor leagues, what's the big deal? Well, part of developing young players is teaching them how to win. And I think a lot of organizations lose that in the shuffle to where it's just more about player development. But if you learn how to play a winning brand of baseball like everybody that comes up through the Nationals minor league system does, then it's an easy transition, because once you get to the big leagues, you already know what it takes to win a professional baseball game and the type of baseball that you have to play, playing the game the right way. So I think at the minor league level that winning is maybe the most important part of development, and the Nationals do a fine job of stressing that at every level.
And they've had great success, obvious to see. I mean, there's a guy in the first base dugout, Randy Knorr, who won a championship with the Potomac Ball Club a couple of years ago and knows so many of the young guys who've come through this organization. So here's Chad Tracy hitting for Tyler Clippard. And Chad 0 for 1 against Caminero. Fastball sails outside. Drew Storton up and throwing. Ball club on top by 5. Looks like he'll get the bottom of the 9th assignment against 4, 5, and 6. And worthy of note, Giancarlo Stanton no longer in the ball game in that number 4 spot. Tracy will fly one to left for Christian Yelich. 2 outs. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Washington Nationals. Ian Desmond 1 for 1 against Caminero, trying to bust up an 0 for 4 tonight. Good breaking ball right in there.
And Caminero has a really good arm angle going right now.
Short arms that thing, and it gets in there in a hurry. By the way, for Tyler Clippard, another ho-hum 8th inning. 11 pitches, 9 strikes. There's the fastball right off the end of the bat. I think what Tyler did there should not be overlooked. Unless you're trying to get him some work, you like to save your closer for close situations. So tonight Davey will be able to do that with Soriano and turn Drew Storton loose in the 9th inning. Well, thanks to Tyler Clippard and those 3 quick outs.
Yeah, and how many times you've seen with whatever ball club, you bring a closer in a non-save situation. He does have the same kind of adrenaline. He turns into a closer, meaning the game gets closer.
Yeah. A byproduct of specialization. And Desmond, not an easy take. Fastball didn't miss by much. Corey Brown waiting, coming into play left field.
And Desmond trying to join the party right here. Hit the ball hard a couple of times, nothing to show. 0 for 4. He's had some really good hacks tonight. Lined out first time up to first base. Logan Morrison robbed him with a fantastic play. Hit a bullet to Echeverria at shortstop his third time up. Just missed one last time.
And a 3-2. Desmond Tapper, third base line. A chance to leg it out. He will. And Ian Desmond gets into the hit column.
And whoever said they don't all equal out, well, that's a perfect example of how they do. 2 lineouts for Desmond tonight and a swinging bunt to join the party. And like I always say, better late than never. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Carp, every position player now with a base hit as Ian Desmond gets the infield single.
Yeah, every position player that started the game, you are correct. And Corey Brown could grab one for the bench here. 2 for 6 since coming back with that home run in Philadelphia. The upper deck shot. Well, he's got the bat straight up and he gets down into a pretty deep crouch, really flexing those knees, kind of presenting a small target. At first, 2 outs. Nats have 15 hits. Look at that team batting average back up over 250. Shut down last night by Jose Fernandez. Not tonight. Bob FP and Julie enjoying quite a show by the Nats offense, as well as Tanner Roark. Tyler Clippard has chipped in his usual 8th inning. Trying to set up a rubber game behind Steven Strasburg tomorrow. That ball bounces. And a good play by Mathis to keep it close. Ian Desmond getting into his secondary lead. Nets extra 12:30 tomorrow. First pitch after 1 o'clock. And then it's on to Citi Field for 4.
Davey Johnson's last trip to New York. I wonder if the Mets have something up their sleeve for the World Series champion manager.
Interesting thought.
Nice way to give him a send-off, right?
I think they should put Ray on third and have him reenact his mad dash home.
That's a good call. Let's be a little slower on the stopwatch, but still fun to watch.
It's okay. Ray would have to hold on to his helmet for those last few steps. Man did some great things for that city, and that's not the only one either. Baltimore, Cincinnati. 3-1 pitch and outside, and Corey Brown will extend the inning, getting a base on balls. That'll give Tyler Moore another AB here in the 9th.
These are the at-bats when you really grind as a hitter, when you're 1 for 4 and you're thinking about, well, I want to be 2 for tonight. I mean, every hitter, that's the object, right? When you start a major league game, or any game for that matter, you want 2 knocks to show. So these 1 for 4s are really high pressure at-bats if you think about it, because you're either 1 for 5 or 2 for 5, and 2 for 5 is a good night, and 1 for 5 obviously not so much. There's a difference between hitting 200 on the night or 400 on the night. These are the things that race through your mind when the game's kind of not so much decided, but, you know, one side or the other. Yeah, he's got 3 hits to show for the night. He's telling Anthony Rendon on deck what he's featuring. Yeah, the fastball's got a little giddy up. That's the hand signal he's giving Rendon.
Front door breaking ball for a strike. Two on, two out here in the ninth. Long inning for the Marlins to be standing around out there. That'll bounce and get away, and two runners will move up. So on the wild pitch, second and third, two outs.
Well, you could really put this one on ice with a base knock here. So all of a sudden, maybe this turns into a little more important of an at-bat for Tyler Moore. 7-run lead, 5-run lead, huge difference. Archimedes, like any good mathematician, not in a hurry.
Trying to figure out the equation for out number 3 here. Target away. Tyler Moore. Pitcher was up. He went up and got it. Straight back and went. Tyler Moore gets a front door breaking ball, trying to drop it into center. He will. 2 more runs for the Nats. And Tyler Moore comes up with a 2-for-5 night. It's now 9-2 Washington.
That's such a big knock for Tyler Moore and the ball club for that matter. 1-for-4 night into a 2-for-5 night with 2 RBIs. So got a slider, hit it off the end, and we were watching the flight of it. It almost tailed all the way back to Yelich in center field. Kind of that inside-out rotation to where it started in left center, came back toward the center fielder, and dropped nicely for 2 RBIs and another knock for Moore.
Yeah, all this with 2 outs. Desmond got in the hit column. The Corey Brown walk. And now Moore with RBIs, number 19 and 20. Anthony Rendon will go up and swing and pop it up to Logan Morrison. So the Nats scored 9 runs on 16 hits tonight. 3 outs to get to set up a rubber game tomorrow. Here comes Drew. And Ryan Zimmerman got the Nats going, set a great tone early with that left center field bomb back in the first inning. After Denard Span led off with a base hit, Yuri Perez in right field. First time we've seen him step on the field since his recall. And Drew Storen will take over here in the bottom of the ninth to try to get this thing quickly into the win column and trying to win a series then tomorrow.
And you talked to him before the game today with that nice sit-down interview, and he's just keeping things simple. Not a whole lot to it. Two-seam fastball slider, kind of ditch the changeup, change the delivery to a more conventional style with a leg kick, kind of getting the lower half incorporated.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing a much more relaxed Drew Storen, feeling good. I mean, this game can be so mental. He just fastball slider, kind of what he did that got him to the big leagues. You know, he was pitching 54 games in the major leagues in his second professional season. And while we were chatting today, it kind of dawned on me that, you know, we forget that. I mean, his road from Stanford to Washington was so short, so quick. This is Jake Marisnick. And Storen pumps the fastball in for a strike, bottom of the ninth underway.
Sometimes you have to fail to succeed. And when things come so fast to you at such a young age, maybe you don't realize what it took to get there because you just got there too soon.
Well, good fastball, good breaking ball, and a funny swing for the first out.
I don't want to say too soon, but you got there quick, right? Now all of a sudden, you know, an intelligent guy, a cerebral guy, that the wheels start spinning out there, and like in any sport, that brain can get in the way. And now I think Drew Storen a lot more relaxed, a lot more confident, and starting to become the pitcher that he once was and will be.
Justin Ruggiano. And Storen misses low and away. Ruggiano 0 for 4 career against Drew Storen. Nats trying to win their 72nd game of the year. And go 3 games over 500. Get it back to 8 behind Cincinnati in that wild card chase. Reds keep winning though now. It's a base hit by Ruggiano, reaching out and stroking one to right field. You can win a hitting lesson, learn how to hit home runs to both gaps with Ryan Zimmerman. It's Masson's Touch 'em All Rewards for your chance to win the grand prize. Go to MassonSports.com and sign up.
Yeah, don't forget about that play he made too. The backhand play with the jump turn, the jump throw in foul territory all the way across the infield, one hop to LaRoche. Robin Solano in the first inning. That may have really set the tone behind Tanner Roark.
Yeah.
When that ball goes down the corner, who knows what Roark's thinking, but all of a sudden Zimmerman makes that play after hitting a 2-run homer.
Logan Morrison, the batter. Jacks one to right center. Yuri Perez, great speed, and he gets there. Then he has to stop himself. I mean, that kid is a natural center fielder who can cover some serious ground.
Wow. Not too many right fielders get to this baseball. This ball hit hard by Morrison in the gap. That was extra bases and a run scored, and Yuri Perez says no.
For those of you obsessed with pronunciations, last time he was in the big leagues, he did tell us that it was now Yuri Perez, not just Yuri as we had called him previously.
There was no E in that play.
No, sir. Here's Echeverria. Runner goes, and the Nats concede second base to Ruggiano.
I mean, and that's the way you pronounce his name. It's a proper pronunciation, but just from a superstitious standpoint, there's no way as a baseball player that I am having an E pronounced in any of my names. It's bad enough when you open the paper in the morning and it says E. Santangelo. You already got an E in front of your name. But E. Yuri, that's the way you pronounce it. And we'll pronounce it any way you want to if you keep making plays like that. That was spectacular.
Oh, I mean, he is fast. Echeverria 1 for 3 RBI single last time. Nats trying to beat the Marlins for the 10th time in 14 games this year. And they will do it on a big breaking ball for the strikeout. 3 hours and 2 minutes to do it. Some offense did it. Some pitching did it. And some early defense from Ryan Zimmerman. What a nice win for the Nats. Rubber game tomorrow with Strasburg on the mound.
Tanner Roark making a big statement. I want to be in that rotation next year. First big league start, gets the win, got the job done. Nice curly W here for the Nats.
Yeah, he said it loud and clear tonight. Nats win it and win it big. 9-16-0, 2-8-0 for the Marlins, and they'll try to win a series here tomorrow. So join us for Nats Extra 12:30. First pitch just after 1 o'clock. It'll be Jacob Turner and Steven Strasburg. This has been a MASN presentation. Stay tuned now. Nats Extra with Byron and Ray, presented by Dodge next. And from the booth in Miami, see you later.